we're going to be doing some fun, colorful makeup. Not on the eyes, on the cheeks. I'll explain later. But anyway, while I do my eyes, let's chit chat. I'm going to tell you guys the story of my first ever date. This was back in 2016, and this was like the first date that I had ever been on with a boy. And honestly, it wasn't like a terrible date. It was just kind of the things that he said at the end of the date. I was in grade 9 or 10, and this guy had been asking me out for weeks, and I just kept saying no. Not because I didn't like him, but because I had a lot of stuff going on in my life at the time, so I didn't really have the capacity to handle like a potential relationship. So I finally agreed to go on this date, and he's like, we're gonna go to the movies, we're gonna go see Deadpool, the very first one, and I was really excited. I wanted to see that movie anyway, so I was like, you know what, yeah, let's do it. So we went, we had a really nice time. It was really fun. I remember we laughed a lot. Before the movie, we chatted a little bit, got to know each other more, and during the movie, we kept looking at each other and laughing at the jokes. Like, it was a nice time. But then, at the end of the movie, he was like, we could just stay here all night. We could just keep going to movie to movie to movie, like sneaking in. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I have to be home by a certain time. So he was bummed out, like visibly bummed out that I didn't want to stay. And then he was like, okay, that's okay. Like, I'll walk you home. He's walking me home, and we're having a nice chat. We're talking about the movie, we're talking about school. And then all of a sudden, the subject turns to how many people he's had sex with. I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? Like, at the time, I was like 14, maybe 15 years old. He was 16 or 17. It was our first date. We don't really know each other that well. And he's telling me that he had sex with this girl and that girl. And he's listing people. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know what to say. I'm only 14. I'm just listening to him name off all these girls that he's had sex with and, telling me that he's really good at sex. And, like, it was weird. Kind of, like, stopped in the middle of, like, my place and, like, his place. So before we parted ways, he was like, oh, Veronica, like, I'm so sorry, but I just lied about everything that I just said. I asked him, why would you lie about something like that? And he, I quote, goes, I just wanted to sound cool. Okay. Anyway, he asked me for another date. I said that I would let him know, and then we never went out again. Obviously, I didn't like being lied to. Like, I don't know why he would lie about something like that. It's just weird to me. But honestly, the big reason of why I didn't want to go out again is because, like, one, while he was talking about that stuff, he was also talking about how he wanted to have sex with me, and it just made me feel like really pressured because of the things that he was saying. And two, like, I just realized I didn't like him as much as I thought I did. So yeah, we never went out again.